Welcome back to part two on how to start your YouTube channel in 2025. We actually didn't really anticipate this being a part two, but it's probably better this way. We're going to be talking about short form content, which one you should do first, and how to create content that it makes it feel frictionless, meaning there's no resistance added to it. You don't have to worry too much about, there's no I feel like content creation for people, especially when they're starting out, needs to be as effortless as possible to build the habit. Don't you
Oh my
agree with that?
gosh, I agree with that for sure. And I think keeping it frictionless is really where we should dive in, because before we talk about what you're going to create or and what medium you're going to create in long or short form, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to have systems in place that help you succeed. One of my favorite sayings is you will live and die by the systems that you create. And that's both with budget, right? Like I think about the system some people have with their budget, right? Like if you are spending your money willy-nilly wherever it goes, right? And then guess what? When you're out of money, right, that system gets you that result. You will die by that budget. The same with your time, right? Your time is a system, right? If you spend your time working all day, spending time with your family and vegging out in front of the TV, like working all day and time with your family, deeply important. But no, of course you're not gonna get content creation done. You're on Call of Duty all night. You know what I mean? And I love Call of Duty.
Yeah, Call of Duty's great.
I love Call of Duty. I'm playing Black Ops 6 right now. It's fun, right? I feel goaded when I'm at the
He's
top of the
playing. He's playing
leaderboard.
Black Ops 6 right while we're filming this podcast. He's got the controller in his hand,
People don't
ready.
see it, but I got the controller right here. I'm going. But like, man, jokes aside,
Yes.
the fact of the matter is, right? Like your systems matter. And so I want to know from your end, and then I'll share, what systems have you put in place to help you create?
So I looked at going back to what we said about excuses, and I looked when I was first creating videos, I tried to analyze how long is it taking to get these videos out. And I'm still changing and evolving my systems as we go. Like it's not perfect. I don't want to pretend like I got my systems all figured out yet. But one of the things for me is I never really liked being on front of camera. So I went with the commentary route. I did this. And really it's putting figuring out what time are you most optimized. That might sound silly, but are you more of a morning person, an afternoon person? At what point do you feel most energized, right? And whenever you're recording, don't pick the same day that you're editing. Just once you get the video done, like once you film the first part of your video, let it sit for like 24 hours and then go from there. But it's really like if you have an idea and you break it down into different types of video categories. Like, is this going to be an easy video? Is this going to be a medium form video that might take a little bit more effort to do? Or is this going to be like a high produced video? And identifying that will take you off of, by identifying those, you can kind of get an idea as to how much time you really should spend on that video. For example, if you're doing a commentary video, like you're talking over either gameplay or you're talking over, some other subjects, the commentary part shouldn't take you more than the time that it's actually the recording is. And even if you do go over, you could turn around and cut that out with cut that out first. But that would be kind of like an easy to do video. You want a video that's going to take you less than 2 hours to
Mm,
get from start to finish, right? So that's one option. Your second to long form video may be like longer than 2 hours because you have to account for the editing. This might be sort of the middle of the ground. And then you have a longer form video that may be a lot longer that you have to really prepare for. So you really have to identify what works for you. So there's this it's this balance between figuring out what you effectively do the easiest that you say, oh, I could do this and it doesn't feel like work, to also this balance of like how long does the actual production itself take. So you have like an internal system and an external system that sort of play with each other. So that's how I sort of developed part of it. I didn't go deep into it, but I'd love to hear what yours is first.
Yeah, so I'm going to take you through a system I have to make a video. And so, system step number one is script writing. If I'm going to script write, it has to be when I'm most productive. And so, I have a green zone when I'm most productive. It's either early morning or it's late at night. Those
Mm-hmm.
are those are the two best times for my mind to work. It's either first thing or it's towards the end of the day. And so both those times I'll sit down and that's when I'll do my writing. I do a lot of writing both for my 9 to 5 job and for content creation. And so when I do my writing, it's either early morning or at night. And so knowing that about me helps me have success when it comes to writing, because if I were just to sit down at 2:30 in the afternoon, I've probably had lunch about an hour ago, right? Like it's starting to sit in my stomach. I'm feeling blah from the day. If I've been up by 5 o'clock, I'm not going to get a good piece of content out of myself. So I know that. So instead, I choose to write early in the morning, right? But from that, right, not only do we have like the script writing piece, right? I write the script, I edit the script. That's a part of my system. And then I note take on the script. And so, where too many people get caught up when making a video is they'll sit down with the footage and then they'll go, what do I do with the edit? That's a bad way to edit, man. That's like going to a word working bench and going, what am I gonna make today with this 2x4? Right? Like I don't know. What are you gonna make? And so, like, instead of approaching it from that perspective, approach it from a perspective of going, no, I know exactly what I'm gonna make. And so I'll usually have my script up, usually in Notion or in Google Drive, and I'll make comments
Mm-hmm.
on parts and I'll go, this for the intro, this for this cut, flash this text here, show this B-roll here. Like I'll do all that kind of stuff so that I know what I am creating, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Like
no.
I don't want to just walk into an edit blind. I want to go in with a plan. And that helps me when I'm recording the video.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I'm recording the video, I know if I'm saying something specifically that, oh, hey, there's going to be a B-roll shot here. And so if there's a B-roll shot here and I want something to be verbatim word said, and I don't own a teleprompter, I can grab my script and go, all right, it says this, and I can do that knowing that I'm flashing B-roll in front of the video. You know what I mean? Like I'm able to do those things. And then last but not least, I think having a setup for your gear matters a lot. So I have two gear system setups. The first one is right here. You can't see it on the camera, but I have my DSLR camera set up over here this is my left. And so on my left, I have my DSLR camera set up. I have the
Yeah.
microphone attached to it, a separate microphone than the one I'm recording this podcast on, and it's ready to go. Like all I have to do is take the battery, pop it in, and I can record straight, and get it done. I also have this key light up here, which is like I can block it out and I can do all that kind of stuff, right? And that's my key light, right? It's easy. It's always plugged in. I just turn it on and it's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast has a recording setup. I have my Logitech webcam. I have this Blue Yeti microphone, and I'm able to just turn it on and go.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally as frictionless as possible, right? Like having a system that makes my capturing of my content frictionless
Yes.
is awesome, right? And that's why, like, knowing where you're going to record and having the easiest possible way to record matters.
It's the same way of keeping organized. I think don't get too overwhelmed by having multiple systems or multiple areas, because I used to do that a lot. Where I was like, oh, I got way too many tools. I got this. I got that. What do I choose from? If you can have like specific devices that you can set for a very specific type of tool, and you sort of mentally identify with that, then that's a really cool idea. So it's like what I got of what you said. It's like you're taking it, going from conceptualization to actualization, with starting with the script.
100%.
And what's cool about this too, I mean, like, not to get too much into the different tools in this episode, but there's so many tools now that have made the writing part a lot more easier. You have ChatGPT, you have AI, you have assistants and other tools that are going to help you get this stuff out. Should you 100% rely on them? No, but they're there to sort of guide you and be like, oh yeah, this is kind of a good thing. Like, For
Oh
instance,
yeah.
when we came up with this podcast, and this whole thing, we started with asking questions with ChatGPT, and then we just conceptualized what are we going to do out of that, and that's kind of how I've been going too.
Oh my gosh. And I think that's just a great point. One of the things I love to say, and I can relate it back to the church world because that's where I work, right? I would never use AI to write a message, right? Like if I'm preaching a sermon, I'm never going to use AI to write a sermon. But am I going to use AI in other forms that help me get from A to B quicker? 100%. And so can I use it to brainstorm? 1,000%. Can I use it to give me ideas? 1,000%. Should I use verbatim what it says? Never. The same as on YouTube, right? If I'm an educator, content creator, right, which is what my video editing channel does, it's an education channel, right? I'm a bad teacher if I'm just taking a lesson plan someone or either someone made for me or AI made for me, and I just go, hey, so today it says this, right? Like that's bad. That's
That's
not good,
that would go off so wrong. It's like,
right? That's not a good way to approach it. And you've seen those people on social media who are regurgitating the same AI baloney on
mm-hmm,
a regular basis. What we're not saying is don't regurgitate AI. What we're saying is use AI to help you. One of the ways I use AI is ChatGPT on its free module now, because I don't pay for it. I just use the free module,
mm-hmm.
has a built-in memory system. You know how great it is that
Dude,
ChatGPT
dude,
has a built-in memory
it
system?
has a memory system like a hawk. I could create ideas. I
Oh,
don't
it's awesome.
I don't even have to bring up stuff. So I'll be typing and say, "Hey, I have this new idea," and it's like, "Oh yeah, based off of the conversation we had like a week or two ago, here's some continuations of what you could do." I'm like,
One of the things I did for 2025 was I put my top 3 goals in for
mm-hmm,
2025. I put my calendar in. I told it everything that I do on a week to week basis. And I said, help me formulate a plan to accomplish these goals. And like every day, what I'll do is I'll just open ChatGPT at the start of the day saying, knowing my goals, what are 3 things I need to do today? And just see what it says.
mm-hmm,
What are 3 things I need to do today? Oh, great. I didn't have to use brain power to come up with the things to hit my personal goals. No, I have an assistant saying, hey, you said you wanted to accomplish XYZ. Do this to help
mm-hmm,
you accomplish XYZ. And then what I can also do is have a conversation with it and go, hey, I did this, got this outcome. What do you recommend next? You know what I mean? And it can give me some recommendations based off the outcome. And I can work the AI to go, I don't like that. What about this? And have like a strategic conversation with it and then go do the work myself. And so, like, I love to tell people when they ask, is like AI going to take over? Is like our job's going to be obsolete? Yada, yada, yada. No, your job will not be obsolete, but you will be better at your job if you use the tools
mm-hmm.
provided.
I want to ask a question when it comes to somebody new and writing the script. Do you recommend them create the thumbnail and the title of their videos before they even record, or should they do this after? If you're
Man,
talking,
they're,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was like, if they're a complete newbie who is just starting out, should they worry about the thumbnail first, or worry more about the process of like the writing and all that?
I'm going to give a really hot take right now for
Okay,
YouTube. The thumbnail doesn't matter as much as people say it does anymore. You know why? Go to
why?
the YouTube homepage. Go to the YouTube
Yeah,
homepage, and guess what happens when you sit on a video long enough with either your cursor or on mobile, which majority of people are on mobile or on their TV.
that's
It
right.
plays the video. It plays the first 30 seconds of a video. I watched half of a 2-minute video on my TV the other day from the browse section on YouTube.
Right. And it
I didn't
includes
even
audio.
click the video.
Yeah.
It just started playing and I was watching and I was like, yeah, I guess I'll click in now that I'm a minute in to this video,
It's
right?
gonna get better where you probably don't even need to click, and it might just automatically bring the video in if you watched it long enough.
Exactly. So hot take, title matters. I think title matters. I really, really do. I think thumbnails matter for search. I don't think they matter for the homepage. So I wanna give a specification on my thumbnail hot take here for a
Mm-hmm.
second. But I think too many people focus on getting the thumbnail just right instead of getting the script just right. Get the content
Yeah.
just right, and the thumbnail and the title will come after. I
No,
really do.
no, I agree. I
Now,
mean, yeah,
I will say starting with a title in mind is really helpful, right? So like start like before we sat down to record episode 1 of the podcast, we thought through methodically what was a good title for this podcast to help drive direction. A good title of your video can help drive direction and lets viewers know what they're getting into and helps you know this video should be about this. So anything in the video not about this probably needs cut out.
yeah. And that's good you mentioned that because in part of my systems, whenever I create content, I will have post-it notes that I have set around my desk or on the wall, set with three objectives of the day. And my goal is whenever I take a post-it note off of it, complete those three objectives, and then after that, rip it up and be done for the day. That's kind of literally my creative process now because if I take on too much or I try to overwhelm myself with too much information, it just doesn't get done. So
Oh man.
set one goal, set it, like you could do this for multiple weeks. You can have different sets of projects, but the goal is to only complete one post-it note a day, and then once you finish it, rip it up, throw it away, and that way you're done with it.
Dude, so good. So good. So hey, we are about 17 minutes in here,
Yes,
so I want to end on this topic right here.
yes.
Long form versus short form. What should people create?
For me, my recommendation might be different for you, but I recommend people to start with short form over long form. And here's the reason why. Yes, you do get more metrics and vanity metrics, but if you really want those quick wins and get them out of the way and you want to create short videos that are not script heavy, it's easier to create a 1 minute to 3 minutes now video than it is to create a 5 to 10 minute video. So you could turn around, go into ChatGPT, and I've done this with my scripts. I've done this with the AI tools that I use, where I will ask that to go, hey, come up with, 5 to 10 YouTube short form topics that I can do in my niche. So for me, it's gaming, and I literally pump in, and they go, here are 10 evergreen ideas that you can talk about in under 3 minutes. I would either set up my camera or do whatever I need to do with a microphone and talk about those topics either in one go, like you can talk about this in 20 minutes and split them up, or you could turn around and just, stop it, record it, upload it real quickly. But getting those quick wins will keep you consistent. Now,
Yeah.
the part where long form might help you more than short form is if you are plagued by the whole aspect of doom scrolling and you're just like, bro, I just, because like there's people putting out slop. I'm gonna be honest on YouTube, but there's also a lot of gold in short form. So it's really figuring out what strategy you want to go, and you also don't want it to get into a position where you get so much off that dopamine high of like, oh my god, I'm getting all this content to not want to upgrade to long form later or live streams. That's my take on it.
No,
What's
I
yours?
I get it. So I think that shorts viewers, reels viewers, short form viewers, right? We'll just call them short form viewers. I think they are, and this sounds bad, so I want to preface with what I'm saying. I am talking about this from a monetary perspective and from a growth perspective. They are worth less, right? Worth space less, not worthless, one word, but worth space less than a long form viewer. A long form viewer, monetarily, both from ad revenue, sponsorships, and overall brand engagement, will pay out more in the long run than a short form viewer. Now, a short form viewer, right, eventually can translate over to long form. But I've seen a lot of people, I think it was I forget who it was, but it was a TikTok star who went to Vid Summit and they were there and they did a meetup and no one showed up. They have millions of followers on TikTok, right? They make 3 minute
Ooh,
videos on TikTok and all that kind of stuff and no one showed up. Why?
dang.
Why? Because people don't care, just strictly based off short form, right? So you have to actually, I think short form should funnel
Into
into
the
your
long
long
form.
form. should funnel into your long form. Now, if I'm starting, right, if I'm just getting started and I want to know where do I want to start, in an ideal world, start with both. If you don't have time to start with both, start with long is where I would go. And I think this is where I would be different. And a long form video could be anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes. I'm not saying sit down and make a 20-minute or hour long video, but I am saying, hey, what if you pause for a second and you make a 3-minute video, and then maybe you make a reel that
Hmm.
intros your 3-minute video, and you say click the related video in the description to learn more, right? If you're an education content YouTuber, or maybe you're a gaming YouTuber and you are like making the dopest clips in Fortnite and you have a really great Fortnite video about the latest build, you make a short about the build,
Hmm.
and then you go, hey, click the link in the description to check out the latest video, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't give all away, you entice people to come into it. And so I think shorts are the appetizer, long form is the meal.
Oh yeah.
Shorts are the appetizer, long form is the meal. And so if you're going to be a shorts first creator, that's fine. Have a funnel in which you're going to funnel people into,
Right.
right? Have a way to build your audience. Have a way to be like, hey, I want to capture their email, or hey, I want to capture this, right? I don't know what this is other than email, in
Hmm.
all honesty, but like capture some form of data that translates them into a larger audience pool to build that 1,000 true fans. Because I think in a short form world, a lot of people don't build 1,000 true fans. They build 1,000 like, oh, I know who that is, right?
Yes.
And it's like going to a really big college and going, yeah, I've heard of Kraft, but like I've never talked to him.
I think the best way to conceptualize this too is think of it like a big wide fishing net with a short
Mm,
form video. When you throw that net out, like you're hoping to capture a couple people that are going to comment. Like I get quite a bit of comments on my short form content, but I'm also adding a call to action to share someone else's feedback. Like I do gaming news for short form videos because I feel like most gaming news out there shouldn't waste 5, 10, 15 minutes of people's time. Get to the point. Now, if they want an in depth discussion, that is where you can funnel them into your long form video and be like, yo, this is a cool thing. And if you want to just show a cool clip that from Call of Duty or show a cool edit you made in like a Grand Theft Auto series or anything like that, shorts a great option because I think this is just my conspiracy, but I think a lot of YouTube, a lot of the old style of YouTube where people did skit commentary, like they did skits, they did, the stuff that isn't really do well in search anymore. They've
oh
moved
yeah.
that over to shorts. Like that's old YouTube. New YouTube is so focused on the whole like thing. Not to say that people don't do skits and stuff like that, but you're gonna have a bit of a wider reach to calculate that. And if they're really into you, then you'll get that true fan. But don't go into it thinking that it's gonna be a like, oh, I'm gonna get a million true fans. They're just there for you for a few seconds.
Oh my gosh, 100%, man. Well, hey, it's been about 25 minutes here, so as we wrap up, any final thoughts to cap out the episode today?
Ooh, that's a good question. I can't think of anything. What should be the next thing that people do?
Well, man, next thing you should do, one, as always, click the like and subscribe button. It means the world to us. And like we say always, vanity metrics don't matter, but they do tell us something. Also, I would comment below, right? What is your opinion? Do you think long form or short form is the better route a new creator should go?